The Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 27. When the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death. And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying, I have sinned in that I have betrayed the innocent blood. And they said, What is that to us? See thou to that. They're used to it. And he cast down the pieces of silver in the temple and departed and went and hanged himself. And the chief priests took the silver pieces and said, It is not lawful for to put them into the treasury, because it is the price of blood. Oh. And they're sitting here, they're getting ready to murder an innocent man. And they're saying, well, just don't put Judas's money. Don't put that 30 in the treasury, because that's the price of blood. It's very hypocritical. And they took counsel and bought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in. Actually, Jesus kind of caused that indirectly. He forced their hand to bury people, which is not anything he asked for, but people that used to die and still do today have nowhere to be buried. But before, there used to be plots of land called Potter's Field, where you could bury people, but not now. They just die on the street. I don't think they get buried. They just get put in an oven, probably. I'm not sure. But these Pharisees and priests, they have no goodness in their heart. And this is very ironic to say it in a way. I don't know another word right now, but how hypocritical can you be, right? They don't care. They just want this guy. They don't care why. They cannot find anyone to, there's no charges. So they're having people make them up, right? They had those two guys make them up. And then, even worse now, Judas, he's the one that caught him for them. And he immediately felt so sick, like the devil probably just did his work and split and left him. And then he's like, trying to get the money back. And these priests are like, oh, we can't take blood money, though. What are they talking about? They are actively hunting down and killing Jesus. This is total hypocrite. But some kind of good came out of it, because now, out of that, they're like, well, we can't take blood money, but we're going to create a potter's field. That's unusual. Wherefore that field was called the field of blood unto this day. Then was fulfilled. This might be Gehenna. I've seen it. It's on YouTube. It's not Gehenna. I'm not sure. It's where Judas hanged himself. And there's like houses all around it and apartment buildings. But that's a pit. It's a clear pit. And nobody's building right there. To this day, you can look it up on YouTube. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying, And they took the 30 pieces of silver, the price of him that was valued, whom they of the children of Israel did value, and gave them for the potter's field, as the Lord appointed me. And Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, Art thou the king of the Jews? And Jesus said unto him, Thou sayest. And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Then said Pilate unto him, Hearest thou not how many things they witness against thee? And he answered him to never a word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. Now at that feast, the governor was wont to release unto the people a prisoner whom they would. And they had then a notable prisoner called Barabbas. Notable prisoner. Therefore, this name, there's a teaching on Midnight Ride, and it is evil. I think it's a demon of the Goetia. And I just saw this whole show about this place called Barabar, right? It's in India. Look it up. It is just incredible. Some technologically superior cave that's polished. It's highly polished. And it must have been where that angel lived. Barabar. But yeah, here he is. Here he is, Barabbas. Barabar. Okay. Therefore, when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto them, Whom will ye that I release unto you? Barabbas or Jesus, which is called Christ? For he knew that for envy they had delivered him. So even Pontius Pilate knew that Jesus is in front of him. He's totally innocent, and it's just out of pure jealousy. This is very despicable. But I think murders, right? They usually happen over money. They usually happen over sex or money, right? This is really just bad, right? The whole situation. They are hunting him down. They cannot, he's guilty of nothing. And even Pontius Pilate knows he's innocent. It says it right here. For he knew that for envy they had delivered him. When he was set down on the judgment seat, his wife sent unto him, saying, Have thou nothing to do with that just man? For I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. Even his wife, the Pontius Pilate, is telling him, don't have anything to do with him at all. He's a just man. Leave him alone. All right. But the chief priests and elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy Jesus. The governor answered and said unto them, Whether of the twain will ye that I release unto you? They said, Barabbas. Pilate saith unto them, What shall I do then with Jesus, which is called Christ? They all say unto him, Let him be crucified. And the governor said, Why? What evil hath he done? But they cried out the more, saying, Let him be crucified. Antifa style, huh? Can you hear him? The governor is telling him he's innocent. And they're in a frenzy. They're in an Antifa program frenzy. That's what the devil does, programs. Programs and assignments and target and triggering. Okay. When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See ye to it. What an actor. Duh. I'm washing my hands in front of you. I don't have anything to do with it. No, you could have stopped it. No, I'm going to wash my hands. And what a dirty allegory to do, right? What was one of the accusations about you're eating without washing your hands? You're breaking a Levitical covenant. You're breaking a Deuteronomical covenant. You're a horrible person, Jesus. You don't wash your hands. And look at this dirty act that this Pontius Pilate does, who had nothing to do with that previous act, right? But it's a possession. It's a demonic possession. He's like, oh my gosh, go get me some water. I'm going to wash my hands in front of everybody. And guess what? I'm going to tell everybody it's not my fault. My hands are clean. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, right? So this is the type of hand cleanliness, right? This is the exact type of hypocritical hand washing bullshit. Yeah, that's notable right there. Because that's what they're arguing Jesus about. Like if Jesus said, "You're right, you guys. Let's all wash our hands. You're right. Let's follow all this." So that it's not, that's not what. That is what the problem is. They are legal interpretation instead of the true meaning, and that is not what the Father intended, and that is what they have done. And now Pontius Pilate is got this similar type demonic. Oh, I'm gonna wash my hands because, like, I'm free of this problem. No, he's not washing his hands before he eats. Right? He's not following Hebrew traditions. Right? I mean, he probably does because it's just dirty. Maybe they learned at some point you wash your hands. I mean, people probably been doing it for as long as they could, washing their hands before they eat. It's not a freaking Levitical law. It's only normal. It is only something you're going to do to avoid disease and distress, is wash your hands before you put stuff in your mouth. You put your hands in your mouth, right? Or touch things. It doesn't take a genius. It doesn't take scribes and Pharisees to create their own Kabbalistic law system that states you need to wash it. We all know that. We don't need your help. Yeah, we all know that. They knew that before their grandparents' parents. Everybody already knew that. But look at this behavior, washing the hands. And Pilate has nothing to do with being Hebrew, but he's like, okay, guess what, it's symbolic. I'm gonna wash my hands. I don't have nothing to do with this. Nothing to see here, anybody. Nothing to see here. Then answered all the children and said, his blood be on us and on our children. What are they answering him like that for? They're the ones crying out. They want him dead. Then released he Barabbas unto them, and when he had scourged Jesus, he delivered him to be crucified. Then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus into the common hall, and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers. And they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. And when they had platted a crown of thorns, they put it on his head, and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him, and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews! And they spit upon him, and took the reed, and smote him on the head. And after that they had mocked him, they took the robe off from him, and put his own raiment on him, and led him away to crucify him. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross. Where's Peter at? And when they were come into a place called Golgotha, that is to say, a place of a skull, they gave him vinegar to drink mingled with gall. And when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. And they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots. And sitting down, they watched him there, and set up over his head his accusation written, This is Jesus, the King of the Jews. Then were the two thieves crucified with him, one on the right hand and another on the left. And they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads, and saying, Thou that destroyest the temple and buildest it in 3 days, save thyself. He doesn't need to. He's saving the world. See, they'll find out in a minute. If thou be the Son of God, come down from the cross. Oh, he will. Don't worry. Likewise, also the chief priests, mocking him, with the scribes and elders, said, He saved others, himself he cannot save. He doesn't need to save himself. He's saving everybody in the world. They just don't get it. They'll see. If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. But he's fat. He trusted in God. Let him deliver him now, if he will have him. For he said, I am the Son of God. The thieves also which were crucified with him cast the same in his teeth. Now from the 6th hour there was darkness all over the land unto the 9th hour. So 3 hours of darkness. And about the 9th hour Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, that is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Some of them that stood there, when they heard that, said, that man called for Elias. And straightway one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on a reed and gave it to him to drink. The rest said, let be, let us see whether Elias will come to save him. Jesus, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. He's pretty strong until the end. Sitting on a cross for 9 hours. And you can still scream loudly. He said he only spoke twice. He said, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. And then he cried again. And that was it. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. So when that happened, there was a huge earthquake, and the rocks broke in half. Who cares what those people are saying, right? They got extra bonus points. Yeah, not only is he going to be up there at the right hand, like they said, in 3 days, like they're making fun of, but they got a big ass earthquake show too. I wonder how they feel about that. And the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose. Oh gosh. Yeah. How do they feel about that? Earthquakes, now dead bodies coming out of their graves. How do they feel about that? And came out of the graves after his resurrection and went into the holy city and appeared unto many. Now there's spirits, you call it, maybe. Also walking around, appearing to many. What do you think those guys are saying now? Do you think they have to stick together because some of them are being visited? Now, when the centurion and they that were with him watching Jesus saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, truly this was the Son of God. Oh. Okay. And many women were there beholding afar off, which followed Jesus from Galilee, ministering unto him. Among which was Mary Magdalene, and Mary the mother of James and Joses. There's that Joses again. I guess that really is his brother's name. Jose's. And the mother of Zebedee's children. When even was come, there came a rich man of Arimathea named Joseph, who also himself was Jesus' disciple. He went to Pilate and begged the body of Jesus. Then Pilate commanded the body to be delivered. And when Joseph had taken the body, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had hewn out in the rock. And he rolled a great stone to the door of the sepulchre and departed. And there was Mary Magdalene and the other Mary sitting over against the sepulchre. Now the next day that followed the day of the preparation, the chief priests and Pharisees came together unto Pilate. Oh no. What are you saying, sir? We remember that the deceiver said while he was yet alive, after 3 days I will rise again. Who do they care? They're sitting there mocking it, making fun of it. Why are they bringing it up again? After 3 days I will rise again. Command therefore that the sepulchre be made sure until the 3rd day, lest his disciples come by night. These people's mind is just purely these are lawyers, really. And steal him away, and say unto the people, he is risen from the dead, so that the last error shall be worse than the first. Oh, it's going to be a lot worse. It's going to be a lot worse. Yeah, now there's a whole new religion. Right. He is risen from the dead, so the last error shall be worse than the first. It sure is. It's an error on your part. Pilate said unto them, ye have a watch, go your way, make it as sure as ye can. So they went and made the sepulchre sure, sealing the stone and setting a watch.